When it comes to dating a Filipina, and more so with a view to a long-term, successful and happy relationship, how important is it to choose a Filipina who's more mature? Is maturity a major factor in any long-term, successful relationship? I believe it's not only very important, but it's absolutely vital. And in this video, I'll tell you why. So be sure to stay with me here. Just quickly, if you're looking to date a Filipina or are already in such a relationship and are looking for support and guidance in a more personal way, then be sure to check out my consulting service where you'll get personal access to me to assist you in achieving an amazing relationship with a Filipina. My link is in the pinned comment and description below. Now, I'm not going to generalize and say that a relationship where the woman is in her early 20s who's with a much older man can ever work or not, because there are always exceptions to the rule. And clearly, there are some younger women out there who may be more mature than their much older partner. But one must know, that sort of relationship is few and far between, and it's very well known and understood how a younger person only matures over time as they learn and experience more of life. Along that journey, they discover who they are as a person and what they want in life. And usually, most of us don't achieve that level of maturity until around the early to mid-30s. So if you're a foreign guy who's considering what age you'll be looking for in a Filipina, then I urge you to think very carefully on this. Are you after a super young, stunning Filipina, or one that's a little more mature and still rather attractive? Now yes, many of us would feel great walking around with a model Filipina on our arm, that's for sure. But do you want to be in the relationship for a good time or a long time? It's something you really need to consider here. The boost to the ego that the very young Filipina may provide will only last so long. And then, what happens to the relationship? Will you be worried that this super attractive younger woman may run off with a much younger and more compatible man than you? Is that really something you want or need to worry about? And let's face it here, the lack of maturity in a Filipina at age 20 will no doubt have her views change as she heads towards her late 20s and into her early 30s. Assuming that she stays with you for several years, will she continue to stay once her maturity levels rise and she starts to really understand who she is and what she wants from life? All these are very important questions to consider for one looking for a long-term relationship with a Filipina. Having any successful relationship anywhere in the world can certainly throw its fair share of challenges. And yes, as I stated in a previous video, 60% of all new relationships fail in the first year. When we date a Filipina, we take on new and extra challenges that, if not careful, make our chances even more slim. And of course, I refer to the cultural differences, the language and communication difficulties, the difference in views of the world, perhaps less of an understanding that she may have around politics, and the list goes on, but you get my drift. So now, add all of the above with lack of maturity. And as I say, we can't truly expect a young woman in her early 20s would be truly mature enough for a serious long-term relationship. Many people at that age simply have never made such a commitment for anything at all before, for any great length of time. The most that they may have committed to is perhaps a university or college degree for a few years. But that's far different to what it takes to be in a long-term relationship with anyone, let alone a foreign man who may be very well much older than she is. As I say, it's not totally impossible for it to work out, but we certainly aren't putting the odds in our favour either. I understand better than most that no relationship is perfect, and no relationship is ever guaranteed to work out. None of us, including myself, have a crystal ball, and life can and does certainly throw us some curveballs at times. But if you're a man over 50 years of age and you decide you want a Filipina who's 20 or even 25, can you honestly and reasonably expect that she has matured enough to fully understand the implications of such a committed relationship to the point she will never change and she'll stay with you forever? To me, expecting such a thing from a young woman in any country, let alone a woman who may be more sheltered around life's experiences, is unrealistic, to say the least. One must know that many Filipinas can take a little more time to mature than the average woman of the same young age in many Western countries. And one must understand this from the outset. Without a doubt, I fully believe that dating a mature woman over the age of 35 from the Philippines will in many ways push those odds we speak about more in your favour than expecting that a relationship with a young 20-year-old Filipina will last long term. And really, if we sit back and look at this honestly, how much in common can we really have with such a young woman? Or perhaps this matters to some and not to others. For some couples, it can be possible not to have a lot in common at the start, but slowly a couple can find commonality as time goes by. Or maybe the relationship is more of a business type of relationship that I spoke about in a recent video, which, by the way, you can check out in the card appearing on screen now. Now, what I give you here in this video, of course, is based on my own thoughts and beliefs around this topic after being married to a Filipina who, when I married her, was 30 years of age and rather responsible and mature in her outlook. But even so, I've seen her mature much more over the past 7 years, and of course, I also look at what I've learned as a relationship counsellor for many years, as well as talking to many guys and Filipinas on this channel over the past few years. So the advice I offer is there for all those that wish to take it. But whether you choose to take it or not, I certainly wish everyone all the very best in your search for a Filipina to be happy with or for your current relationship. I'm always happy to lend a helping hand for those that want a more personalised service and chat with me privately via my consulting service, which I've put a link in the pinned comment and description below. And for those looking for more valuable free information and tips around creating an awesome relationship with a Filipina, then be sure to check out the playlist on screen now. And be very sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.